Well, hello and welcome to our backyard garden here in the South Carolina upstate. It is May 16th and this is our 12th episode in 2025. We took a couple of weeks off because the weather was a little inclement, a lot of rain, and didn't really make things look all that great. That you really weren't seeing a lot of color, and a lot of flowers were kind of falling off during that time. So we're back to some fairly stable weather right now, and we're gonna show off the garden, starting right here at the side of the garage. I always show off these snapdragons at the beginning because these are have just kind of come out on their own. We did not plant any of these. They all kind of came from this group that's growing right up out of the concrete. And similarly, we have Cleome growing up out of the concrete. I often say we have the most fertile concrete in South Carolina, but that aside, that's about the only color in this part of the garden right now. We had, if you saw our last video a few weeks ago, we had lots and lots of irises through here. They're all done. In fact, when you look at the seed pods, the ones that have gotten fertilized, they're about the size of small cucumbers at this point. And unfortunately, they don't do a whole lot. They're not worth really putting in. You have to really grow them over a long period of time. Here's another huge one. But even without that, we've gone from just a few plants to an entire hillside of them over the last few years. And at the bottom of this is a big daisy. Looks like we're getting some buds on here. Usually these bloom a little bit later in the summer, but maybe we'll get them earlier this year. They're very pretty white flowers, and so we'll be looking forward to those before too long. Over here, this is all spring stuff, long since finished up. We do have a knockout yellow rose here. Just one flower right now. It was blooming very nicely through most of the spring, but like a lot of the plants right now, as we're kind of at a transition phase between spring and early summer, they're just kind of waiting for the next group of buds to come up. Now we do have some huge hydrangeas here. We have 4 of them, and these will bloom later in the summer. Not really seeing any seed pods yet, but or I'm sorry, buds. I keep saying that. No buds of flowers yet, but they will come probably in another month or so. In the meantime, talk about buds. We got tons of them. These lilies through here are just covered with buds, and we are going to have flowers left and right probably in the next couple of weeks. So this will be really exciting. These always do very well. Similarly, we've got all these digitalis. These have kind of reseeded themselves. We just put in, I think, one plant right here, and we've got this whole cluster now. We've got the purple, we've got a pink, a white. Maybe we put in 3 plants, I don't know, but they're doing really well. They've kind of spread out. I would say we've probably put in a total of maybe 10 or 12 plants altogether, and I would say we have twice that many now just from natural seeding. Over in here, we've got a little bit of clematis still going on. Most of our clematis are done for the spring, but these Giacomini's are still giving us some color, growing up into the hydrangea as they typically do. And then we've got, again, some more lilies. We've got a petite knockout rose back in here. This really, if it's going to do well, this one needs to be moved. When we put it in, it was in the sun. Now it's completely covered over by that hydrangea. So to give it a fair shake, it really should be moved elsewhere. Got some impatiens that my wife Jenny put in a few weeks ago. They're doing pretty well. And then some more clematis. These Giacomini's do really well, bright purple. And excuse me, there's always pollen out here. We got some butterfly, a couple butterfly bushes, and they are just about to spring forth with these dark purple, almost magenta colored flowers. Looks like we're going to get a lot of them this year. This is a smaller one, not doing quite as well. It has not moved along all that much yet, but I think it will. This one is putting out enough buds so far for 2 plants, so we should be getting a lot of additional color very soon. This is kind of interesting. Here we have a big red knockout, and the last time we did one of these videos, we had a big white clematis growing up amongst us. So you had both the red and the white in the same place. Now, this is just new this year. This Giacomini clematis is growing up on top of it. So we go from white flowers to purple in addition to the red. It's a nice combination. It looks really good. And we have some more Giacominis up on the fence in the background. It's taken a while to train those up there, and as they continue to grow, they get a little bit better, a little more robust and healthy every year. Some more lilies here. These are just starting to get buds on them, so it'll be another few weeks before we get the flowers. We've got all this light green stuff down here. This is called creeping Jenny. It doesn't really flower, but it does give us some beautiful foliage and ground cover. And more digitalis, or foxglove is the traditional name. One of my favorite flowers, very unique, very colorful, and it does very well. It's very low maintenance. You don't really have to do much of anything with it. Back here, our one viburnum in the background, or in the backyard, is done. Several azaleas also done. Now they'll come back in the fall and give us some more flowers. That's one of the beautiful things about these particular azaleas, is that they bloom twice a year, and you get a full bloom. I mean, a lot of purple flowers. They're absolutely gorgeous. More impatiens down in here. And then our astilbe are just starting to come out now. And you can see these are red ones. We have kind of a lavender, we have some white, and we have some pink. The pink ones are just coming out now down here. We have quite a few of these. Some red ones down in this area that are out now. It's a nice shade plant, does really well, very low maintenance. You don't really have to do anything with them. And then back in here we have some hostas. It's kind of at the lowest point of the garden. I do have one wisteria back against the fence. Has not done all that well, although it is still alive, so anything is possible. I'm not giving up on it yet. Over here we've got a lot of black-eyed Susans. Typically these bloom a little bit later in the year, but we're starting to see a few flowers. We had one up in the front yard already blooming, and so hopefully we'll get some nice color coming up through the rest of this late spring and into early summer. I'm hoping that they'll continue to bloom well into even late summer, as they typically do. But sometimes as they mature, their life cycle changes a little bit. Now this is lamb's ear. I've talked about this many times because of its unusual texture. And they do flower. For the most part, they're ground cover, but they do get these kind of whitish, yellowish flowers. These are just buds right now, but by next week they may be open, so we'll keep an eye on those. I've got one of my favorite roses in here. This is all one plant, even though you see the different colors. When these are coming out, the buds are usually kind of a yellowish, kind of a combination yellowish and reddish color. And then as they open up, they start off yellow, and then they transition into pink. And we've got quite a few of them. It's spread out nicely through this part of the garden, and that's one of my favorites. We got climbing roses and clematis, and even some jasmine back on the fence. We're going to see a lot more jasmine here shortly. Got some more of those daisies that we saw earlier here. They're not quite budding yet, but they will. We've got a big knockout rose here. Its initial grouping of flowers have kind of finished up. A lot of seed pods, few still out, but there are a lot of buds here, so before long they'll be blooming again. We had a lot of clematis up on the trellis over here as of the last video, but those are mostly done. There are a couple blooms still out, and you will see those in a couple of minutes. And then basically, for the most part, this area is kind of quiet at the moment. These are some more daisies, and probably in another 2-3 weeks we'll get some of those blooming. Now we have 4 of these climbing roses that put out these tiny pink flowers, and they are kind of at a transition phase right now. This trellis was absolutely covered with blooms all across the top, red on the left, pink on the right, and then jasmine right now all through there. And we'll get a better view of those in a couple of minutes. Climbing roses here. This climbing rose always loses its leaves, gets a lot of black spot, but it continues to put out flowers all through the year. And then Jenny has put in some bulbs back in here, not quite coming out yet. We do have a nice yellow rose right here, just a tea rose. Another tea rose over here with the pink flowers on it. Try to get a better view of that. This one generally just blooms in the spring, and then it kind of quiets down. Back here, lots of jasmine, and those are fully in bloom. We've got clematis. They're past their peak, but we're still getting some nice sporadic color, different colors. We have white, blue, pink, purple, red. It's a nice thing about clematis. There are a lot of variations, and I don't know all the names of them. I know Nellie Moser and I know Giacomini, and those are really the only 2 that I can identify readily. We've got some plants back in here that we want to put in. Last year we had some bright purple zinnias that we had just bought at Walmart, and we put them back in this area, and they did really well. We just haven't gotten around to that yet. We've got a big butterfly bush here. This will bloom a little bit later. It has these variegated leaves, so it's a little bit different than the ones we have elsewhere in the garden. And here's a branch of our climbing rose, another one of these pink ones like I showed before. But you can see how many buds are on this. I mean, it's just an absurd number of flowers that this thing puts out, just thousands of them. It's amazing. And some more clematis. Now this one, interestingly enough, is fully in bloom right now, this lavender one. Again, I don't know the name of it, but it's doing really well. Now behind that, we have a white one. This one was blooming fully about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, but this one is just coming out now. So what I really like about our garden is that we have kind of successors to the different colors. So it's not like everything blooms at once and then it's quiet. It's we're going to continue to get flowers throughout the year, and I love that about the garden. There's never a really dull time. There's always something in bloom that you can enjoy. Now this one, I'm pretty sure this is Nellie Moser, this purple one with the 2 shades of lavender right here. Growing up on the fence, we've got these maroon ones also on the fence. Got some more of a pink color over here growing up on the fence, and that's something I have worked on over the years, is getting these things trained up onto the fence so that they will do better, get closer to the sun. Some Giacomini's back in here, some more Giacomini's back in here. And then of course our neighbors had some big knockout yellow roses over here. They're about done, and they have some big hydrangeas that usually do really well as well. Before I go to the back, I'm just going to show this area. We have a single wisteria. Has not done real well, but I'm hopeful it's still alive. Hopefully it'll do well in the years to come, and we can train it along the fence. And then a dahlia here. This area we've kind of struggled for a variety of reasons with most plants. It's kind of what we call a dead zone, but One interesting little thing, a single poppy. Don't know why. We didn't plant it there, but it has come up, so we're enjoying it. A little kind of a miniature knockout rose here. 3 knockout roses got eaten down to the ground by animals a couple years ago, but they have come back on a very small scale, giving us some color. And then we've got a spiderwort over here, doing well right now. It had a setback a year or 2 ago as well, but it's doing pretty well now. And then we'll come on over here. When we did our last video, our wisteria was completely in bloom, but it's done now. There's really not even any seed pods. They've all fallen off. But this one is absolutely huge, and it has to be maintained because it has a tendency to grow up into the weeping cherry there, and we don't want that. I don't mind if the clematis grows up into there, and you can kind of see that white clematis is growing up, the vine is going up into the tree, but I don't want the wisteria doing it. It's a little too aggressive for that. For those of you who have been watching through the year, I went through and got weeds out of this part of the garden about maybe a month ago, and you'd never know it. The weeds have come back with a vengeance, so I'm going to have to get back in there and do some work if I have the time. And interestingly, we've got some nice little yellow flowers. At first glance, I feel like they're just dandelions or some variation of dandelions, but I'm not even positive that's the case. I'm really not sure what they are. But they go with a plant that I thought was a weed. I cut it back, and it's still doing well. And then of course the clematis behind that. This area is always a little bit of a challenge for us. This is mostly canna. It seems like everyone else but us is able to grow canna that do really well. Ours always seem to be subject to disease. A lot of the leaves that come up will have problems like this, and we get a very limited number of blooms out of these. These darker ones usually produce red flowers. The lighter green ones produce yellow flowers. But for the amount of greenery that we have throughout this terraced part of the bed, we really don't get a whole lot to show for it. So I'm not the world's biggest fan of these things. I say that all the time, and here we are. We still have them. I could probably just go through and spray them all with Roundup and get rid of them, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Certainly the soil here is probably the worst on our property. We haven't done anything to fertilize it, and I'm sure that plays some role in the how the plants are doing. But we do have other things in here, like these irises. They've done very well, and we've got some wild strawberries growing back in here. They're kind of all over the ground, and then even some more of the black-eyed Susans in this area. And then moving over to here, we've got kind of a strange thing. I don't really know what's going on. I've had daylilies for 30 years, and I've never really seen them get a disease, but these appear to have something wrong with them. I mean, you look at them, they have not bloomed yet. In fact, it doesn't look like they're going to bloom at all. They're really struggling. And meanwhile, the irises over here, these Dutch irises, I thought they were done, but I'm still seeing some blooms, and they've done very well. In fact, these plants have gotten bigger and bigger. But and in fact, pretty much everything in this part of the garden has done well, except these daylilies. And they're just you know, the natural orange ones that you see everywhere, and they're pretty hardy. I really have no idea what's going on here. I don't know if it's a deficiency or a parasite or what exactly, but there's one type of plant that is not doing well. Now over here they're doing a little bit better, but I'm still not seeing any buds on them. So that'll be a real curiosity to see if they come along later in the year and give us some blooms. We've had other things blooming already, like irises. They're all done in this area. but just the daylilies are a problem. Now that we're on this side, I'm going to show, this is really the best view of our jasmine. And I would be willing to say there's nothing in our garden that puts out more flowers total than our jasmine. You look closely at them, they all have these little 5-petaled flowers, and they are there by the tens of thousands, all up across the trellis and all along the fence here. It's a very aggressive vine. It will take over if you allow it to. I had to cut it back a little bit just so we could walk through here. It was trying to, mostly the jasmine, but even some of the climbing roses were trying to take over. So you have to be brave and cut these things back at some point, or they will take over. And you can just see these vines, and sometimes these vines will be 20, 30 feet long if you let them go from their starting point. So that's it for this part of the yard. We'll come on up. The upper part near our house is not as exciting right now. It had a big burst in the spring, but it's again, like some of the other parts of the yard, kind of in a transition. I do like showing off these hostas. We have 8 of these gigantic plants all along the side of the house. Very low maintenance, which is nice. Just got to keep the weeds out of the area, but other than that, they do very well. This was a nice big magenta rose, all done for the time being, but this plant is very healthy, big solid canes if you look down at the bottom. And that tells you that your plant is very healthy. Here we have what I believe is a type of phlox. No, I take it back. This is phlox. This is Veronica. We usually have Veronica up here at the top, and we have some more down at the bottom. And we have not seen a lot of those until now. So these appear to be doing really well. Not sure about the ones down below. Daylilies up in here. These even seem a little pale, but I am seeing some buds, so hopefully these will give us some flowers before too long. Now this is the one iris that's still out. It's about the only one I've seen in the whole garden, and it's a little different color. We had some couple different types of hybrid irises in this area. We had one that was almost a black color. We had some yellow ones, and now this one that's multicolored. But it's really about the only one left. Got calla lilies here. These are much larger than they were last year, which is great to see. I put in a total of 8 about 3 years ago, and not all of them have come back. Most of them have, and they should be giving us some beautiful flowers before too long. I think 3 or 4 of them have come up here, and I put some others in down below. I'll go back down there and look in it just a second. A little bit of clematis still growing here. These lilacs gave us a little bit of color. This one is done, but it gave us a little bit of color earlier in the spring. This one really didn't do much of anything. I'm not sure why. We got more color off of the clematis growing on top of it. Daylily buds here, more daylily buds down in here. This is another one of the gigantic climbing roses, almost 2 stories high, covered with the pink flowers. But we're again kind of at a transition point right now. It will give us more flowers before long. Big lilies here. These are going to bloom very shortly, and then that brings us about around to the start. So I want to come back down here just for a second, since I mentioned these calla lilies. I kind of missed them before, but yeah, these are growing really nicely. They do have a Veronica growing up out of them. This is a separate plant, but the calla lilies, we have 2 here, and we've got 1 here, 1 over here. So those are doing really well. So it looks like maybe all of them have come back. That would make me very happy. But we'll see what kind of color we get. There's a lot of different colors of calla lilies. I think I had bought about 8 different colors. when we were putting these in a while back. So as always, we've got our work cut out for us. We've got some more plants to put in. Jenny has her seedlings up on the deck. I'm going to actually go up there real quickly and kind of show those off. She put in about 600 little cups, about 600 little seedlings, and the majority of them are zinnias, but we've also got marigolds and some vinca and some other things. But this is mainly what we're looking at here. These are all zinnias. Back in there, the ones that are just breaking ground, those are vinca. They take a little longer to germinate. And then, as I say, marigolds over in here. This is her kind of her special place for all of this. A lot of work, but they really do well. And got some daisies that we need to put in later, and then just our one little area of petunias. Our petunias do not typically do real well in the garden, but they do very well in our little pot here. Kind of similarly on our porch, we have a big thing of impatiens that have done very well. The only problem they have is the cats jump up on top of them to try to come out through the screen. So I'm going to have to remedy that hopefully this weekend. And that's about it for now. Like I say, always something to do. It's all very rewarding though when you get all this color coming out throughout the year, and the growing season down here is about 8 or 9 months, which is wonderful. We moved here from Ohio a few years ago, and it was a very short growing season there, 5-6 months, and so this is a nice change. So in any case, hope it's sunny wherever you are. A little hazy sun here, but a very nice day, about 75 degrees. And until next time, happy gardening.